Hey, we're back. Thank you. A little bit of technical issues always slows us down. We've got to start working on this a little bit earlier every time we try. Let me know that you can hear me. Say hello. If anyone's got any questions along the way, please feel free. This is a two-part series. We're also live on Zoom with our members. G'day everyone, how you going? And all our affiliates. So if you are a dog trainer, we'll drop a link in the chat if you'd like to have a chat about our affiliate program and different levels of membership, then feel free to join us. Today we're talking about a bit of a subject that a lot of dog trainers are busy educating. Our dog trainers say that it's a common question they get. It's certainly one that we get asked when we also help people find a dog trainer that's going to help them with their dog training. So let's have a look at what's on the screen. There we go. So this is our group, me and my dog. Anyone can join the group. Just join. It's free for the public. We have dog trainers who are joining the group as well. They're also getting involved in what's called MMDB, Me and My Dog Business. So we're helping them grow their business, target their audiences properly, and get more people on board to help train more dogs, basically, and do that in Australia. Now, so we're doing a live chat Q&A after this live session where we're talking about what level your dog training collar should be on. And so if we go over to the website, you can see there that we've got a whole page about dog training collars. Now, as I said before, this particular video is quite a good one. This couple have this German Shepherd that was pulling the lady off her feet, turning around and biting her hand to make her let go of the lead so it could go and have a bit of a tussle with another dog, which wasn't very socially acceptable in the park at the time. So she was, at her wit's end. It was a visit to us for some advice, or the dog was going to go down to the vet and that would be it, because they couldn't control the dog. Not that they hadn't tried, they had also done a lot of courses and stuff, so they'd done the right thing. They needed to talk about a dog training collar. Mind you, this is many years ago. I will say that when they came and saw us, dog training collars weren't as widely accepted and as widely known as they are now. Of course, right throughout my career as helping people with dog training products, there's always been the negs, the naysayers, the haters that don't like them. And fair enough, if you don't need to put a dog training collar on your dog, you don't. If your dog's got instant recall, or if your dog doesn't bark at home, don't go out and buy a bark collar. It's as simple as that. But if you've tried a lot of things and you need some help, get professional assistance. Speak to, companies like us. Obviously, there's more people around there than us. We've got Joe on the chat line there if you need a hand. And, get some good advice, use it properly, and you'll get the results. No one's ever come to me and said, I want to buy a bark collar or a dog training collar for my dog because I think my dog's going to look good in a bark collar. They've come to us because they're at their wit's end. They need to get a solution to a problem. And the answer is not, well, if you I hear this too much. The answer is not, well, why own a dog if it's barking and you can't look after it? It's not a question of why own a dog, etc. I'll just get someone to see that we've got a couple of people who are spying in on us. That's great. It's not a question of, well, if you're not in a situation where you can't own a dog, then don't own one. It's like, well, if you've got a loved family member and you've had them for many years and you've changed the address, or the dog's barking, or you've just been told from the neighbours something's changed and the dog's now barking and you need some help, that's when you start to look for a bark collar. And it's not a matter of, well, you should get rid of your dog. You can't. It's a family member. It's not a question of that. So yeah, don't ever come at me and say, look, you shouldn't own a dog if it's barking too much and you don't have the time. We're all busy. Why should my children miss out on having a dog just because both of us have to work and that sort of thing? Obviously, get some toys. Anyway, I digress. Getting on my high horse again. Now, with the dog training collar, a little bit of background. They all work the same. Let's have a look at them. This is the particular collar that the lady in the video used. Someone's calling me. Now, what happens with this? Just check that we're live. I'll ask the guys to find out that we're all okay. This is the picture.
We are live, boss.
Good stuff. We are live. Good. Okay, so dog training collars. You have a collar on the dog. You have a handpiece. You want to make sure that they're not going to be interfered with by other radio signals. So make sure you get a good quality brand, and we're not talking, $60 on eBay. You may not get what you paid for, or what you want, or the results you want as well. So when it comes to a dog training collar, what happens is the dog wears the collar, you've got the handpiece. A lot of the good ones these days will give a vibration, a beeper or a tone, and multiple levels of static pulse. Now, some of them jump up, some of them have a rheostat dial, which is quite good because you've got a very smooth transition in levels, quite accurate depending on what levels you need. The Sport Dog and this PetSafe one we've got here, it does have varying levels. If I show you that, we can decrease the levels. This PetSafe one actually has a lock, so you can lock it out to be less than 8, but it does go up high if you need to. I like the ones where you've got like a quick thumb dial, you can push the button, get instant results, etc. And this PetSafe one has vibration and beeper, which talks to this little unit. So this is a light one, so it's a very small little unit, and I haven't turned it on, so that's not what this is about. Now, when it comes to this subject here, what level? There's 3 things I'd like to talk about. And drop a question in the chat if you wish. After this, we're doing a bit more of a detailed chat inside our group about dog training collars and what sort of courses our members can offer the public to help train the dogs properly and teach owners how to use the equipment correctly, which is what it's all about. It's appropriate use of the equipment in order to get the desired result. With a dog training collar, point number 1, obviously the collars have levels. So what level should you have it on? The variables are that you've got levels on the transmitter. What I'm trying to say is how your dog is going to react depends on the type of level you've got the collar on. The next point to make is what is the dog doing at the time? Now, this is crucial, and I had this chat with a dog trainer. I was a bit surprised that they didn't really realise this. Their question was, well, I've got the collar and I've got it on level number 4. Now, that means that, and what was happening? Well, sometimes it's working on number 4 and sometimes it's not working on number 4, which therein lies the problem. They couldn't understand that, what they found is they're pushing the button at number 4 and the dogs are not paying any attention. Let's go back to the whole screen. Oopsie, no, we want to go there. Okay, so pushing the button at number 4 and the dog was not paying attention in certain times. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Now, what I explained was it's not down to the collar. The collar was delivering the correct stim level that you chose. It's just down to what the dogs are doing at the time. So the crucial question was, when you push the button and it worked at level 4, what were the dogs doing? Well, the dogs are just sniffing around, not doing much at all. And when I push the button, they go, oh, yeah, what do you want? And that's it. Now, okay, and then what were the dogs doing when you pushed the button on number 4 and it didn't work? Oh, they were running across the field. So if the dogs, and we did this on our bark collar page as well, if your dog's comfort zone is here and you push this level, and this is his excitement level, he's not really going to pay attention until he's quite trained to know what he's looking for, because that might be enough to interrupt him. If it's a new training area, you're going to have to go with the collar and get it up above the dog's excitement or comfort level, and this all depends on what they are doing at the time. So if the dog has a high level of drive, or the dog has who's chatting in there? Like, share and say hi. Thanks, guys. Yep, do that. If the dog has a high level of drive, you're going to have to increase the level of the collar. When you're introducing the collar to the dog, you want to follow some of the recommendations that one of our members recommends using low level stim to get the dog recognized. Then you can start introducing vibration. Quite often people are using these remotes on deaf dogs just to get their attention at the vibration level only. Then the position of the collar. You've got to remember that when you put these on, these are what's called it's a TENS machine for a dog, which stands for transcutaneous electronic nerve stimulation. So you're stimulating the nerve transcutaneous through the skin in order to get the muscle to get a tingle. Now, if you touch one of these probes on the dog collar and you push the button, nothing will happen. If you touch 2, it will actually do the connection. If you lined up 20 school kids, and then one put one finger on the one probe, and then the last one put the other finger on the other probe, they would feel it because it would travel through them. You create that connection. Now, what's happening is that's a localized stimulation. So it's same as going to a physiotherapist and they put a probe on this part of the muscle and a probe on that part of the muscle, and they run their TENS machine through the muscle to give you that tingling sensation. So that's exactly what's happening with the dog. Now, if you move that TENS machine from the physiotherapist onto a different part of the muscle, and it's now touching maybe it's touching a nerve, or there's more sensitive part of the arm, you're going to feel it differently, even though you haven't adjusted the dial. Same with the dog. If you find that you've got the collar on the dog's neck and it is touching a muscle, then it will feel different as if it's touching somewhere else. So you've got to be aware that when you push the button, you are going to have to take into consideration all of these variables. What level do you have the collar on? What is the dog doing at the time? And where is the collar position? Now, you don't know that third variable. So what you have to do is be guided by the dog's reaction. So you would start at a lower level of correction on the collar, and then what you would do is monitor how the dog reacted. Now, just be aware as well, if the dog's a fair distance away and you've got a collar on the dog and you push the button, the radio signal, you'll push the button and you might give them a snick on some collars, which is just a short, sharp little pling, or you might give them an extended correction. But just be aware that if you push the button and then there's a radio signal going through the air to the dog, it might take time to get to the dog and correct the dog. If you push the button and the dog doesn't respond, there might be a correction on the way. You don't want to push the button until you're sure that the timing has happened. Now, that sort of thing varies on the quality of the remote, also the distance. You might find that the longer distance remotes give you a little bit of a faster response time. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to be going zip, zip, and then the dog's not reacting, turn it up 2 levels, then you go zip, zip real quick, and then you get the first reaction, and there's another 2 higher levels coming along. So that's not going to be a good thing. So after you've tried the collar on yourself, and you've seen what it's like, what sort of response you get, you can put it on the dog and start seeing and monitoring what levels are appropriate under what circumstances. I know this is a bit of a long video, but there are a lot of variables that go into this, and it's a common question, and it's something you need to consider. If, by the way, you put this on your arm and you push the button, then you are going to feel it differently to the dog. We have thin, oily skin. Dogs have thicker, hairy, dry skin. They don't sweat like we do, so there's not as much oil, which would obviously change the conductivity of the correction. So just remember those 3 things. What is the dog doing at the time? What level do you have the collar on? And just be aware that the position of the collar will alter the dog's reaction, so you're being guided by the dog's reaction. We'll talk further about these, but if you'd like to chat to one of our dog trainers, maybe book in a consultation or a chat over the phone, they can give you some advice, and we're always happy to advise as well. So jump onto the website, www.thedogline.com.au, and the other thing I'd like you to do is run over and join our Facebook group, which is called Me and My Dog. That is where it's absolutely all happening. I don't know how to close this. And you can join, give us a picture of your dog, introduce yourself, and pop up a picture, and we're all having a good old chat inside that area, and that's where our dog trainers will come from as well. Who's giving me love hearts? That's crazy good. Good stuff. All right, folks. Look, jump on the phone, give us a call if you want to have a chat further about that. If you are a member, we'll see you in the Zoom live Q&A right now, and we'll carry on from there. Just remember, look around for a decent quality remote trainer, because you want to make sure you get the results you're after. All right, so how do we drive this thing and drive out the door? That's it. Okay, folks, thanks very much for chatting. We will see you again soon. Okay, bye for now.